Hi, welcome to Orthopedics This Week, top 10 stories of the very first week of 2023. My name is Robin Young. I'm the publisher of Orthopedics This Week. And every week I plan to have a short podcast on what are top stories of the week. And let's get started. Power rankings are always an important story. Which orthopedic companies are on the rise, which are moving in the other direction. So every week I do take a look at the top 10 suppliers of orthopedic implants, instruments, and other services and pick my top 10. So be sure to check that out. Number 9. So the team at Texas Back Institute, Plano, Texas. It is the legendary place where a lot of new technology is initially tested. But what makes them so special is after they are testing technology, really work it up, understand how it works in patients, they then do follow up. And I don't mean 2 years. I don't mean 6 years. I mean 10, 15. And they just issued a new retrospective study of these standalone intervertebral body implants, and specifically stay lift. As you can see, goes between the vertebra. You've got the 2 screws angled to hold it in place. That means you don't necessarily need a plate or other things. It's all compact. So they did go and look at multiple year follow-up. It's an extremely valuable study. Some people would not pay attention because it's on the stay lift, but you should. Again, the thing that makes Texas Back so amazing, so valuable, so important to spine is they invest the time and the people, whatever it takes, to follow up. That's why you should read this study. It's really interesting. Number 8. You want a better total knee arthroplasty outcome? And this is an important question. One of the most stubborn problems with knee arthroplasty is while 80% of the patients are fine, I mean, it's been a life-changing surgery, 20% are not. So you want to do a better job, call in the robots. That's the conclusion of a University College Hospital in London study, and they're not the only ones. Other studies are reinforcing that same point. It's worth reading. Take a look. And by the way, you can see all of these stories on our website. I'll give you the address shortly. Ambulatory Surgery Center Association, a trade association for ambulatory surgery centers, one of the fastest growing areas in orthopedics. You know, the traditional downtown hospital, now almost all of them are setting up outpatient surgery centers. So the ASCA is asking Congress to reintroduce the Outpatient Surgery Quality and Access Act of 2021. Why? Well, we have all the reasons in our article, but basically improving access and ensuring quality. It's a fast-growing area. You do need quality control. You want to keep the patient experience to be as good as it possibly can be. And this was a really interesting story. Okay, the U.S. Patent and Trade Office said, sorry, folks, you can't trademark the color pink. Now, I might want to quibble with that, but, you know, they have ruled. Turns out there is a German company which is a leader in ceramic-coated implants, you know, hip implants, knee implants, and ceramics are a terrific product because they last so long. Well, if you add a particular compound to ceramics to make them last even longer, it turns them pink. And this German company, Ceramtech, made pink, the color pink, a big part of their marketing. Well, their main competitor, Colorado-based Coors Tech, and every time I say that, I keep thinking about Coors beer, and perhaps there's a link there somehow, and I'd love to know the story if there is. But Coors Tech challenged Ceramtech's pink marketing and went to the U.S. Patent and Trade Office and said, hey, what are you doing? They're trademarking pink. They shouldn't have to do that. We want to do pink too. And the agency came back and agreed with Coors Tech. And we put up the story, and you should read it for yourself. It's really kind of interesting. So, Pink, can't trademark that. And our fifth story, oh dear, there is a spine patent infringement lawsuit that was initiated against the Johnson and Johnson division, DePuy Synthes. Again, one of the top one or two orthopedic and spine companies in the world. It was a true David versus Goliath case, and in this case, David won. That was RSB Spine LLC. They thought that DePuy Synthes was infringing on their patents, so they filed the lawsuit and they won. Interesting story. And congratulations to Matthew Holansky, MD. You know, one of the top children's hospitals in the United States is Phoenix Children's. If you've never been there, well, we wrote a story about them some years back. Check it out. They really are remarkable people. It's a fantastic institution. And here, Dr. Holansky, who was 20 years at the University of Nebraska, is coming in as the new division chief at Phoenix Children. So congratulations, and do check him out. He's a great guy, and he's joining a really phenomenal institution. This is the number 3 story. If an elderly person falls and fractures their hip, it can be a form of a death sentence. NIH study some years back pegged it around a 30% chance that an elderly person will pass away within 12 months of a hip fracture. Well, Stanford University put together a study and developed a tool which calibrates a more accurate answer, and it's really more of a patient-specific answer to the question, if this patient has a hip fracture, you know, how serious in terms of their life, you know, mortality is it? It's a really good study. It's something that'll be very useful for all trauma surgeons, anyone who deals with hip fracture patients for elderly people. Number 2 story this week, large joint arthroplasty robotics. Not a new thing anymore. In fact, if you know kind of the way new products tend to move into markets, you start with early adopters, and then after a while, after they've had their experience, it begins to slowly move into the mainstream. Well, the sign that robotics is moving into mainstream, I think, is the story coming out of Europe, where Essential Robotics, it's a robotics company, which has a really interesting system, really well-designed, great product, has now formed a partnership with a company called SpineArt, which is a spine products manufacturer. It's been around for quite a while. This robotics is just beginning to be getting to be mainstream, and this is another news story that illustrates that trend. In our number 1 story, so you see those 2 athletes, they're both octogenarians, and they both are in the Senior Olympics. And you know what? If 90-year-old athletes can still compete, why should they not also get the benefit of large joint arthroplasty? Well, there's a study that supports that argument. And sure enough, it's an interesting read. These folks that are out there at 87, 88, 90, more over 90, and are still pushing their body to its limits are redefining what aging is all about. And sure enough, if 90-year-old athletes can compete, why shouldn't they get the benefit of large joint arthroplasty? Well, those are the top 10 stories to start 2023. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you want to read them, I hope you do. We have the full stories at ryortho.com. My name is Robin Young, and be sure to leave any comments or suggestions anywhere you like. You can even email me. And thank you very much.